You're listening to CBC Online at cbchs.org.
Three, two, one, CBC Online, visiting with Kevin Slaten of KFans Radio, and Kevin can be the keynote speaker at the CBC Father-Son Banquet. Talk to us about just the honor of being able to be selected to do that.
Well, Rob, when you talk about father and son, it's very special to me. First of all, my relationship with my son, Troy, and then my relationship previously with my own father. And so when you get asked to speak to a bunch of fathers and sons in this day and age, or any day and age, it's a great honor, and I'm thrilled at the prospect of at least sharing some of my views with them.
You know, over the past few years, parenting has really taken a bad hit. We've had a lot of bad examples in the media, but a lot of good fathers out there, a lot of guys that really step up. Talk about maybe your relationship with your father, first of all, and just what it means to be a father yourself.
Well, when I was at CBC, if I had any problems talking in class or anything with teachers or coaches that I got in a little bit of trouble for, when that word got home to my dad, I was going to get it a second time. So there was no, let's go talk to the teacher, let's go talk to the coach. There was, you're grounded, because they were always right. And that's how I was raised, and that's how I try to raise my son as well, that positions of authority command respect, and if you don't respect that position of authority, then you'll never respect any position of authority, whether it's a coach, teacher, certainly your parents. And so my father earned that respect from me, and I certainly gave it.
So as a father yourself, though, I mean, how difficult in this day and age is it to carry that old school mentality into this modern era?
It's very difficult today. And one of the problems is the internet, because everything's out there, everybody's talking to everybody, and there's just a difference in terms of raising your children and being able to invoke the same kind of discipline that we had on us when we were growing up. It's always somebody else can do this, somebody else can do that, somebody else's parents allow this, somebody else's parents allow that. So you're constantly swimming upstream if you use discipline. But I still think it's the best way to go.
So what kind of message do you have for the group? We have probably about 500-600 people in the room. What are you going to say?
Well, I think the most important thing is that sons respect their fathers. But their fathers have to earn that respect. I don't think it's given. I don't think it's a gift. I think it's something that's earned. And once it's earned, then it will last forever, because that son, no matter how difficult of a time he has, always knows that he can go to that father because he respects him. And he may not agree with him, and he may not agree with the solution that the father recommends, but he will respect it. And usually when you respect it, it makes you think about your options a lot more.
And how did your father earn your respect?
Well, it was mostly through discipline. And, once I realized the way to go was to be disciplined in whatever you did around the house, whatever you did as a teammate, whatever you did as a student, then it pretty much played over into every aspect of your life. Your preparation for what you do as a job, in my case, preparing for a radio show every day. The preparation is discipline. And if you are involved in any other kind of a job, just getting to work on time, being there, putting in your work, that's all discipline. People that show up late drive me crazy. I don't care who it is, but that's a form of discipline, and I learned that at a young age.
So about just being asked to speak at this kind of event has to be a real honor for you. What was your feelings when when Mike England asked you to do this?
Well, when he asked me, there was no doubt, as long as I had the date open, and I wasn't previously committed, which I wasn't, so it was a wonderful opportunity. And I was thrilled. I immediately told my fiancée that I had been asked to do this. She says, "You're going to do it, aren't you?" I said, "Absolutely. There's no greater opportunity to talk about a father and son than at a father and son banquet from your alma mater."
Yeah. And again, real quick, just kind of talk about your career. I mean, a lot of people have given you a lot of different labels, but you just, every day you kind of grind it out, and you've been one of the longest running hosts here in St. Louis. Talk about your career and what's added to your longevity here.
Well, I think what's added to it and what gets you through the tough times is what I learned from my father, and that is be yourself. Don't ever compromise your principles. You can compromise in areas of life, but don't ever compromise your principles. And when you don't compromise those, there will be some long days, there will be some times when you wish you might have, but in the long run, when you don't, you can rest easy at night, you can sleep well, you can look yourself in the mirror, and you can get up to fight another day. And those days then become shorter, it seems like, as long as you don't have to think, who am I? Why did I do that?
And finally, you know, for the people who don't really listen to your show, they kind of have maybe labeled you as controversial or kind of a firebrand. But maybe, you know, what would you say to people who really don't listen to your show but already have a label for you?
Well, again, it goes back to my dad. He always told me, tell the truth. You know, you'll get in less trouble when you tell the truth than if you don't. And when people say controversial, what I take from that is I tell the truth as I see it. They may not agree with it, so that makes it all of a sudden a label, a controversial person, someone who swims upstream. That's not necessarily the case. There are days when you have to, but as long as you say it as you see it, you tell what you think is the truth, based on the evidence that you have, then anyone who wants to disagree with that is free to do so. But in terms of labeling it, it's simply the truth as I see it.
And finally, you've been doing this a long time. I mean, what's the road ahead look for? Are you still looking to do this for many more years, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I enjoy it, and that's half the battle. When you enjoy the job you go to, then it's easier to get up and do it every day. Again, my father taught me at a young age that pick something you enjoy, and then it won't be work. And I always go back to that thought. If it's not going to be work, they call it fun. Guess what? For me, it's fun.
Good stuff. Again, Kevin Slaten, class of 1972, keynote speaker at the CBC Father-Son Banquet. We'll catch you next time, Kevin.
Thanks, Rob.
CBC, Men for Tomorrow, Brothers for Life.